What are we doing today? Well, we're going to play with an Arlec sensor light, and this is going to be a fairly simple project. I've got this to put into a situation where I have a PowerPoint but don't have an existing light socket. And this is designed to fit a bayonet cap light socket and to adapt into there. So I'm planning on putting a plug on here. Now, I am not a certified electrician, but I do have ASNZS 3760 test and tag certification. That doesn't make me an electrician, and it doesn't make you one either, nor does this video. Now, I know how to put these on, and I know how to do it properly, but crucially, I know how to test that it's safe. So I wouldn't recommend you do this yourself. This is for a personal use, this one here. So I previously worked with electricians, and I quite periodically get a qualified electrician to come around and check my work and correct it if it's not safe or not to standard, or if I shouldn't have done it. So officially speaking, this won't get used until it gets checked. Anyway, let's get this plug off and see what we can do. Alright, this one luckily isn't molded. It has a screw in here. Now I can't see my viewfinder either. Let's try and do this in front of the screen. I'm expecting a couple of springs to come flying out at me here. No, wow, that is that is extremely simple. I just pushed two of these in here. Oh, and that one wasn't even screwed in properly. Now, really? Alright, so straight away stuff off the shelf is probably less safe than what I'm planning on doing anyway. So, got a couple of terminals on there. In fact, those little bootlace connectors they put on there are probably actually kind of handy. So we'll leave them on there. And I think the length that they're stripped back is probably about correct for the plug too. So we'll put this one back together, and we may or may not reuse that if we have a reason to do so. Although this is sort of going back about 40 years, maybe longer, in running everything in a house off a light socket. That's how it used to be done. Alright, now let's get our plug open. Now, if you ever are doing one of these plugs for yourself, don't throw it on the floor like that for a start. But there's a little pamphlet in there which I will open once I find the top off this plug. And I highly suggest you consult everything that's in this document, because this tells you what the polarity is. Now, you might be sitting here going, oh, it's AC current, oh, polarity doesn't matter. Well, actually it does, especially when you're talking about earthing. Now, this being double insulated and not having an earth makes me as nervous as hell, but it's how a lot of things are done. Earth and polarity still matter in a double insulated device. And the main reason for that, along with a few others, is RCDs, residual current devices. You get this right, it's more likely that that RCD is going to trip and save your life. Now, all these are going onto a circuit with RCDs. So, now, even though I know this stuff like the back of my hand, I'm going to check this anyway to make sure I get it right. I do it every time. Now, I remember the color codes. There's an old code that uses red and black, and there's our current code that uses black, brown and blue. Now, I always remember as red and black and blue and red and brown. And that's if you get it wrong. So black and blue is what you're going to be if you get it wrong. So the black and the blue are neutral, and the red and the brown are active. But yes, again, you end up black and blue if you get a shock and thrown off a ladder, or worse, you end up dead. So definitely in Australia, 240 volts mains voltage, be really careful. The other thing to be careful of here is there is this little bit here. This is important. This is a strain relief and a cable clamp. So we need to have a look here, and we can actually see through this plug here that there are actually little embossed letters. So A for active, and N for neutral, and E for earth. We're not going to use earth because, well, there isn't one, and it's a double insulated device. So we'll do that up just enough that it doesn't rattle out and bounce around in there causing havoc. So true to form, I'm going to double check anyway. and make sure that our color coding is correct and that I have remembered correctly. And it says down here, brown for active and blue for neutral. The little things they give you on the sheet is also a diagram here that is on real size, and we'll bring our camera around here so you can see it. It shows you exactly the length that you're going to need to do this job. And these bootlace connectors are more or less the correct length. So we're going to strip from about that length there. We're going to put that into here with this stupid orange thing that I'm going to take off one day. And we're going to pull a little bit more off that. And so that gives us more or less the right length. So now that we've got that, now we can actually afford to go around those strain relief connectors. Let's get in front of the lens here. Or the strain relief pegs rather. And they are important. They do make a difference. I see a lot of people get lazy with plugs, and they do pay the price eventually. This is going to be up and out of the way and not touched and not frequently moved. So I'm a little less nervous about it, but there's still no excuse for not doing things the right way. But I always, with these right angle plugs, these bootlace connectors don't want to go in. So I'll drop you in like that. Come on, stay in there, bootlace connector. Now, there is a trick here where you shouldn't tin the ends of these wires either, because for various reasons I won't go into right now, but they can pull back out. So I'm going to consult my little sheet here about how those strain relief go. So the one that goes underneath is the neutral. You go up and around this peg this way. You go in that way. And I read the manual every time I do one of these things, because complacency, especially with mains voltage, can kill you, or generally will after a matter of time. Now brown wire goes the other way around that peg, and that drops into that slot very nicely, and we want to keep that wire sitting away from, or on the other side of that plastic divider there. We don't want to be crushing it back on top of the neutral for obvious reasons. Now that one can go in there, that one can go in there, that can go there. Then we're pretty well done here. I'm going to put our cover back on here. And oh, this one has a funny little slidey bit in it. This is a slightly new design I haven't seen before. I think I might have to reread the standards. I think there's been another alteration to them. So let's get our way back here. I'm not watching the viewfinder with any of this, so I'm not sure how much of this has actually been in frame. Alright, that looks like we're done. Now the reason these are transparent is so that you can look through them and see pretty clearly, hey look, there's no earth wire, and you can see if things are frayed or black, or if anything's gone wrong in there. And that little black bit here is holding the strain relief on, and it is quite firm. That's doing its job. So along with all the other clamping mechanisms that are in there as well. Alright, we can probably test this now and see how we go. I'm going to assemble this because testing it might be handy. And they had these little tags in here that say warning, don't over tighten the globes, and they encourage you to stick your finger in a live light socket. I wonder how many people have stuck their fingers in there after they've plugged it in and turned it on, because there are exposed terminals in there, which again make me really nervous. There's a screw kit here that we won't be using because we're going to be attaching it differently. Let's see what kind of light globe we've got, whether we've got LEDs or halogens. Looks like we've got some big incandescents. That's probably why it was cheap, but that's okay, it will do the job. Now these bits, I believe they go this way according to the diagram, and we will put that in like so. We'll screw this in. I see why there is a lip on the edge. They're meant to actually go over the top like that. That makes a lot more sense, and I think it might actually perform its function much better. And unlike some people I've seen just neglect to put these on and then wonder why their RCDs trip on a rainy day. And this is generally why. So we'll put both of these globes in because I want to test this on the bench first. Okay, so that feels like it's made contact and it's made firm connection without being over tight. I'll change my camera angle in one moment. And yes, my camera angle was out of frame yet again. So let's put this in. Oh, we need to adjust ourselves out of the way slightly. There we go. Not really conducive to be bench tested, but that's alright. How about this? You're watching me screw light bulbs in. Okay, we're firm but not over tight. Let's find some mains voltage and watch this blow up and watch me trip an RCD once I get this lead in an accessible position. Okay, let's cut for a moment. Alright, we're going to plug in and see if it goes bang. No, it hasn't gone bang, but it's turned on, but only one light turned on. So maybe that one isn't making contact. Or it's blown. Alright, let's do a bit of homework. So it would appear that I slightly under-tightened one of the globes, but let's sit this over here and it should do a quick little test of power. It should click on for a moment. And now it didn't. I guess there's a capacitor that's in there and charged. Let's wait a few minutes and just check again. Another shot. Let's see if it test runs. There we go. Both globes come on for a bit. And they're nice and warm, and then they've turned off. Okay, probably because the daylight sensor says, hey, it's daylight. We'll unplug that. But that's pretty well us done for the moment until we figure out where we're going to mount this thing, which seems very flimsy, but what do you expect for 30 bucks? So for now, I think we're going to take these globes away and put them somewhere safe so they don't get broken. So I have to remove them anyway. Wow, there's not even any spacer or protection in that box for the globes. Wow. Just shoved in diagonally. Okay. Alright, well, we'll see you all in the next video. I'm doing a bunch of little short ones because I've pretty well got to sit on my hands for the moment. And I've got a lot of out of sequence stuff happening at the moment. So there's another video that I don't know if I'll be releasing before or after this one, and it's just trying to make sense of all this lockdown and try and get some interesting videos out with what I have already recorded. Anyway, we'll see you all in the next one.